Hey, what's up, guys? Julian here, Julian McKenzie. You know, still rocking with the Most High, Christ, right? I was watching a YouTube channel. This guy that I follow, he goes around to um, college campuses and he reasons and debates with college students. And I'm really listening to him, tuning in, and really interested in what he has to say. And as he debate with this young kid, the kid has who was asking some real good solid questions, and he was asking him like um like how would you know that you know um the gospel is real? What gives it authentication? That uh, what is your proof of belief to us, the listeners? He was asking some real good questions. One of the questions he asked the guy, the gentleman, he said he was a pastor. I think his YouTube channel is give me a reason or give me an answer or something like that. But I like to watch him because I love debates about God and whether or not is he real, is he not real, and I like debates on atheistic worldviews and the Christian worldviews when they come together and they debate and they go at it for the truth. I love to listen to those stuff like that. And the kid asked him a question what he couldn't answer, and neither could his comrade answer. The kid was like, okay, in this current day time, with all the stuff that you've been reasoning with us and telling us, what's your proof of evidence that Jesus Christ is real, especially from these gospels you're telling us about? And he couldn't seem to find the answer. And as I sit back and I was watching, I was like, I actually have the answer to what the question this kid asks, but I'm just on the other side of the screen. And um and I realized that, he couldn't give this kid the answer. But here's the answer in the form of a testimony that I have. Back in the day when I wasn't a Christian, I didn't receive Jesus yet. I actually used to sell drugs. And that's what I used to do. I used to sell drugs. And God saved me from a prison cell. And um what happened was I can remember at one particular time when I used to smoke and get high, this particular cousin of mine, the family members were saying that he ran out his head, he lost his mind. And when I heard it, I was like taken aback by it, and the way he used to be, because he developed this name in the streets too, that like incredible street cred as one of the leaders of a notorious gang, which is in New Providence. And in New Providence, that's the capital of the Bahamas. And and all of a sudden we heard like he flipped and he lost his mind. But when I was 21, by the time I turned 21, I started to go around him, and I would also invite him on the little journey that I embarked on with trying to endeavoring to get rich and selling drugs. And as I got more acquainted with him, I noticed like he had weird tendencies. He was suicidal, number one, and he always would try to convince me that demons was real, you know. So I would always tell him that, hey, man, I don't believe in what you're trying to tell me. I know about the physical. I go by what I could see. I don't go by superstitious stuff. So and he would try to convince me time and again, and I would be a real big skeptic until this one night we was getting high, and I can remember he was also under the influence of alcohol at the time. Um, and we was getting high, and I will never forget how this entity man took him over and like 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 hijacked his body for a minute because he was talking at one point and something like came up in his throat. He started to like try to clear his throat like if I could try to reenact the scene, and something took over his body, and he was like in a trance-like state, and this thing spake out of him in a different language. And I know he couldn't. I don't care how good of an actor he was. I know he couldn't have staged that, and I knew that it was that what was speaking out of him was not him. Because I know from being around him, I know who he is, and this thing took him over, and he spoke in a different language, and I would never forget it. The first thought that hit my mind, I said, "That's got to be a demon." You know, I wasn't saved then, but I knew enough to know that that had to been some other like mind or being or you know what I mean. So and that was my first glimpse of the dark side. Now, prior to this, I was the biggest skeptic. Growing up, watching television and all, I always convinced myself after I became of age that Hollywood lied to us. They create the the figments that's in our imaginations with devils, demons, vampires, and all those stuff. So I discarded them, and I only lived by what I could see with these two physicals, with these two visuals in the physical. But that particular night, I know that was a spiritual encounter from the dark side. And it made me put to question a lot of other things like, well, if that's real, then God has to be real. But I didn't give my life to Christ yet. It's just a mini testimony I wanted to share with y'all. Because like some people would question, the realness and the authenticness of Christ. But if the dark side is real from what I saw, I saw it with my own eyes, I heard it with my own ears. If those are real, then God gotta be real. And that's one of the things that led up to me getting saved. Um, there's also other um, spiritual manifestation that I encountered dealing with witchcraft while selling cocaine in a crack house. But maybe I'll make a part 2 video and you could probably tune into that, okay? Well, like I've said, my name is Julian McKenzie, and I do believe that Christ is real. I didn't convert purely of doctrine and what people told me concerning what the church teach. I got converted because stuff I saw, and I believe God allowed this to happen to me because I was one of the hardest and biggest skeptics that the Bible wasn't real and God is whoever we make him up to be. That was my mindset. Okay, so maybe I'll make a part 2 video telling people about the the manifestation of witchcraft with a particular person that actually disappeared out of the crack house and while I was selling coke. But if you would like to hear that, hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe you could leave a comment, let me know that you would love to hear that as well, and I'll make a part 2 video. God bless you and be blessed, and know that Christ is real.